young and elegant gentleman. To my right is Mr. Uyi. Mr. Uyi, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel.
And to my left is Mr. Casey. Welcome to the studio, Mr. Casey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel.
Great.
Good to be here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Uyi,
Yes.
what do you think about online security and privacy? Our day-to-day life involves logging into multiple sites, multiple computers, elegant gentlemen. To my right is Mr. Uyi. Mr. Uyi, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel.
And to my left is Mr. Casey. Welcome to the studio, Mr. Casey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel.
Great.
Good to be here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Uyi,
Yes.
what do you think about online security and privacy? Our day-to-day life involves logging into multiple sites, multiple computers, multiple platforms to carry out our day-to-day transaction. Could be financial, could be non-financial. How do you think we can best be protected or best be secured online?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel, for this opportunity to be here once again. And the topic is a very interesting one. And as we all know, everything today is online. And just as we have people offline, the good, the bad, the ugly, so also do we have the good, the bad, and the ugly online. So if you don't...
Could be financial, could be non-financial. How do you think we can best be protected or best be secured online?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel, for this opportunity to be here once again. And the topic is a very interesting one. And as we all know, everything today is online. And just as we have people offline, the good, the bad, the ugly, so also do we have the good, the bad, and the ugly online. So if you don't protect yourself from certain kind of interaction or transactions online, you may be a victim of some malicious acts. You know, online, there's several things we do online, and we're constantly interacting with people and systems, and we're exchanging information and data. Some of these data involves maybe our names, our emails, and passwords, and other details. They are not in themselves bad, but what determines when something goes wrong or goes right is in interaction or transactions online, you may be a victim of some malicious acts. You know, online, there's several things we do online, and we're constantly interacting with people and systems, and we're exchanging information and data. Some of these data involves maybe our names, our emails, and passwords, and other details. They are not in themselves bad, but what determines when something goes wrong or goes right is in whose hands does it get to? Whose hands does it get to? If it gets to the bad guys' hands and all that, it will be, they could use it for whatever they want to use for that we may not want. But if it's in safe and if it's with the right people, it's okay. So like you said at the beginning, there are different kind of things we do online. So we have maybe financial transactions, non-financial transactions like social interactions and all that. And we have the third area that we call the in-between, the freebies, online services that you sign up for and all that to use their services. And many times they require some details for you. If it gets to the bad guys' hands and all that, it will be, they could use it for whatever they want to use for that we may not want. But if it's in safe and if it's with the right people, it's okay. So like you said at the beginning, there are different kind of things we do online. So we have maybe financial transactions, non-financial transactions like social interactions and all that. And we have the third area that we call the in-between, the freebies, online services that you sign up for and all that to use their services. And many times they require some details for you. So you have to be careful about how you give the details. The first important thing, I'll start from there before we go to pause. The first thing is knowing that you should be safe online. The first thing is just to know that you should be safe online.
Sure. Every individual needs to be conscious that their safety online is non-negotiable.
Exactly.
Else you'll be trading your identity.
Exactly. How you give the details. The first important thing, I'll start from there before we go to pause. The first thing is knowing that you should be safe online. The first thing is just to know that you should be safe online.
Sure. Every individual needs to be
Conscious, yeah.
That their safety online is non-negotiable.
Exactly.
Else you'll be trading your identity.
Exactly.
In stealing your identity online, the person can wreak havoc, can really harm you, because the person is you online. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if I succeed in taking your password, getting your password, I can change it and I can own your online identity. It means I can access where you can easily access. It's like having your social identity number or something like that. So it means I can
Like
go there
security
and security number,
like
sorry.
they use in
America, it means okay, I can become Daniel Ihile. And if somebody has mine, that person can become Kelechi Nkwocha. It means that the person can go anywhere and then access anything they want to access that it's really my own. So that's why it's very, very important we protect it. It's like, okay, let me say you have money in your house.
Yes.
You have 5 million naira in your house. You are going to protect that 5 million. You're going to keep it in a safe. You're going to password and padlock it and make sure you protect it. The same way too, if you have some things online, you don't leave everything open simply because it exists online. If somebody make a withdrawal, you are gone. The money is gone. And
Yes, a few days back, while I was surfing one of the social media websites, a highly respected individual who serves in the Nigerian Air Force, an Air Commodore, sent me a message saying he was stranded in a meeting and he needed me to send him 5,000 naira recharge card. I did not hesitate. I'd actually bought the recharge cards, I'd scratched them, and I was about typing them. But on the second thought, my instinct just told me, dial his phone number and see if he's going to respond. Because the message I actually got on the social media platform was saying I should not dial his number, it's a very important meeting. But on the other hand, my instinct said dial his number.
Yeah.
So I dialed his number, and funny enough, he picked. He greeted me, we exchanged pleasantries, and I told him someone is online requesting for 5,000 naira recharge card. Should I go ahead and send it? He's like, no, don't send it. I'm actually in my house right now. I use a postpaid line. I don't need recharge cards. I don't buy recharge cards. Probably my social media account has been compromised. That actually got me very, very worried, because we all have very important people on our social media friend list, and there are people we actually look up to. There are people we dare not question their requests.
Yes.
So how do we protect ourselves from these kind of criminals who, in one way or the other, are able to steal the login credentials of these people that actually follow us and just approach us and unknowingly make this kind of funny, ridiculous requests? How do we better protect ourselves from this kind of activities? Because if with all of my ICT background and security training, I almost fall for a scam like this, I bet you 90% of the individuals out there will fall for this kind of trap or this kind of bait. So how best do you think an individual can go in securing their login credentials and also verifying this kind of transactions before carrying them out?
Okay, that's a very interesting one. And thank you for the other day that you use your instinct.
Yeah.
So and I'll draw from there. If you have doubts about any behavior that's not regular, especially that's not it's not consistent with what you used to, ask questions.
Yeah.
Don't code it. Ask questions, ask those that know better, ask maybe somebody you trust out there before you go ahead with such transaction. And also, to balance this, this is not to make you afraid, because there's a way out, because when you have the right information, you protect yourself. So it's not to make you afraid. Online is good. But the thing is, I think there's this new technology, almost all social media networks are using it now. Yahoo is using it, Gmail you're using, how we call it, your mobile login authentication. Whereby if you're logging into any of your accounts from any system other than the system you usually use, it wouldn't allow the person going. If you ask, if you send a code to your phone, many times it's integrated to your phone. Whereby if you are with your phone, you can now like, oh yes, I'm the one. So with that is another layer of security. But some people say, what if I don't have maybe a smartphone? They can use that. Sometimes they use code. They use that to guide against people that try to, maybe they steal your identity. You're using your password, but now they're signing in from a system that is different from the system you usually use. So Yahoo or Gmail normally ask that. So whenever that thing happens, you know that okay, they're not somebody trying to, something could be you. maybe you're trying to log in from another system.
Maybe an internet cafe.
An internet cafe and all that. So
or
if you're
a colleague's laptop.
Exactly. So they can send that to you. So from your phone you could give the authorization here or something, say send me a code. So from the code it is an extra layer. So it means the person will have to take both your details and possibly your phone.
So do we have to go into our account and go under the settings and enable this feature, or is it enabled by default?
They give you an option. So you pick it up, but if they don't give you an option, maybe you mistakenly not accepted it, you go to your settings and check your login options. So it will show you login authentication, so you can choose a different. Most time the mobile is the best, so that most time you're with your mobile, sometimes they send you the code, sometimes you just have to tick yes, I'm the one, to protect you, especially from as regards your social media handles and your emails. So there is a way out. That's why we're bringing this information to you, so you know that. So if you're not a tech savvy person, you could ask an ICT person near you, maybe in the office, your ICT person, that how do they do this, and it will show you how to do it.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So we can best take this opportunity and go in before there's a compromise on the account.
Exactly.
So for our listeners out there, we're encouraging you to go into your social media accounts, go under the setting options, go under security, and ensure that all the possible options to verify your logging into your account from a different device is enabled. Mr. Kelechi, you made mention of something very important: identity theft. The term identity theft for a newbie or someone who hasn't heard about it before might sound a little bit complex. Are you saying online we all have our identity online, just like we have our identity offline? And are you saying it is possible for an individual to actually steal this identity from us, carry out some malicious activities, and it is traced back to us? At the end of the day, we get into trouble? Can you tell us, can you shed more light on this?
Okay, like I always say, we exist online. We have digital identity. Okay, my identity is, you have to know my fingerprint, certain things, attributes that are peculiar to me.
Yeah, so if you carry out a crime, you can trace it back to me.
But now online, you're looking at my email. So if you can access my email, you can access my social media handle, then you've stolen my identity, provided you can control it. So if you can control it, you can change password, you can post, you can do anything. You've stolen my identity. If anything, thank you. If anything goes from that handle and I'm implicated, it will be traced back to me. It will be assumed that I did that. You get what I'm saying? So that's why it's very, very important you protect it. And most times, our online behavior is very, very bad. You see, people just log into any system, and when they do that, they don't log out. They just leave everything like that.
Yes.
And sometimes, if this person has access to your phone, to your mobile phone, they can change your password. Even when they send the password there, they just, I'm the one, and they fake the change. And then log out of any other device, and they log you out and control your identity. Now, with this kind of thing, if you have an ongoing business and then you are sent mail, they can just do anything they want to do because they have access to your email. So it's even beyond your social media handle. They can send mails to organizations. They can try to scam organizations. In fact, it has happened so many times where you see scammers, the way you see your normal car thief, they just go down, steal a car, then use it to rob, another car, or use it to rob any other place.
Go rob somewhere,
and they take down the plate number, and it's traced to you. The same thing too. People can just use your mail to access other places, and it's traced back to you. That's why it's very, very important to protect it. Even if you don't have huge money somewhere, it's also very important to protect your digital identity.
Yes, you made mention about an online behavior.
Yes.
I have been to internet cafes severally, and once I go into these cafes, I open up the browser, I get my 1 hour, 30 minutes, I just buy the time to access the computers, and I log in. I notice immediately there is an account in front of me that has not been properly logged out. Somebody probably came in, logged into their emails, logged into their social media handles, and either they forgot to click the logout button and just close down the window. Because if you close down the window, I'm sure you're not logged out. You still remain logged in. So the next person that comes back and open up that window, open up that browser, still continues with your session. Other times they run out of airtime. So would you term that as reckless online behavior?
It's reckless. It's reckless in the sense that it's like you have something of value in your house, and then you are going somewhere and you leave the windows, you leave the doors open. Anybody can access it and take whatever is of value to you. So it's very, very important when you are doing this. You are conscious, first of all, that your identity can be stolen. And then you're also conscious of what will happen, the implications, if when your identity is stolen. Now, when you know the gravity of the implications, then you will take necessary measures in making sure you mitigate against this happening, because it's very, very possible and it happens. You see, when people say Yahoo, Yahoo and all that, it's not perfect. It happens everywhere. It's not just to people abroad, even to people here in Nigeria. And there is this one thing, there's this research from MIT University, and they found out that, look, most people, they use the same password on their email, the same password they use on their social media. It's also the same password if, for example, in the online banking, like for example, Break Marketplace, when we request for password, Break Marketplace platform, they will use the same password they use in their online banking. Now, they are repeating passwords here and there. You get what I'm saying? And now you have some other applications that request for password. They still use the same passwords. And now, if the guys developing this application, if they have ulterior motive, something will happen. Either it stores the password and reveal the password to the guys, the back end, and then they will use this password to access all that
to log into your email.
Thank you, and things like that.
So, well, this just opens up a whole new.
And this research said over 80%, over 80% of the people who try to access all these other platforms use the same email and password combination they use even in their online banking, even in their email.
So are you saying it is unethical to repeat passwords for different platforms?
Yes. For example, in my banking, I have a complex, you don't want to hear it, you don't want to see a complex password for that. Then my social media handles, okay, I can have the same password combinations. And then when I'm going off social media, and let's say all these other platforms like Break Marketplace, I'll have other password for it. You get what I'm saying? So with time, you get to, you remember, you recall all these passwords. Sometimes you don't need to recall them, you just know how to save them, that you alone can access it.
Oh, yeah. Great. So it is a good rule of thumb not to use the same password for multiple platforms.
Yes.
It's advisable have a different password for your online banking, have a different password for your social media account, have a different password for your email. So if any of this platform is actually compromised, it is only one of your platform that is compromised, not the entire platform.
Exactly.
Oh, excellent. I mean, our viewers, no doubt, and listeners out there, I'm sure you have been educated a little bit in terms of protecting your identity online. It is a very good rule of thumb to ensure that while creating accounts for multiple different platforms, will maintain different passwords. Some sites out there are actually rogue websites. Out of curiosity, you go in there, you create an account, you type in your email address, and you type in the password. And immediately, whoever runs that platform will grab your email that you have supplied and also your password that you have used to create this new account on their rogue platform and attempt to log into your legitimate accounts. We really, really have to wake up. Mr. Uy, can you classify the types of transactions we actually carry out on a day-to-day basis?
They are usually in two broad categories. There's an extra balance one. One is financial transactions.
Okay.
Where we make online purchases, we pay for services, subscriptions, and all of that. Those are online financial transactions. Then we have the non-financial transactions, whereby there is no money exchange, but sometimes we have what we call identity exchange or data exchange, whereby you get information from somewhere, or maybe you're giving information, you send information somewhere. So in these transactions, they run across interfaces where we talk with the people we are maybe transacting with, or they are talking back with us, and in these cases, our computers or our devices. So in the light of what we're discussing today, when you have transactions, especially financial transactions, like Mr. Casey rightly said, you manage your passwords very well. And like I said, one of the rule of thumb is you use different passwords so that you're able to manage your risk and your exposure. Then another thing you can add to this, especially to protect your non-financial transactions, actually affect your financial transaction, is every once in, we usually say maybe in 3 months, but it might be too soon. Let's say once in 6 months, you can change your password.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes you may have logged in into several places that have cookies and all that. And you know, sometimes when we have these forms, especially when you're using certain systems that maybe you might be using for the next 1 week, you see this pop-up that comes out like save details in case of next transaction. So sometimes we click save, so that when we just go in, it already logs us in. But now, this may not be your system, or you may not be using this system for long, it's an office system. So you avoid things like that. Because if you click save for next transaction, it might make things easier for you, but at the same time, it exposes you. That's why I said you may not know where you mistakenly did it or somebody did it on your behalf. Every 6 months, you can change your password to something different. Not because maybe anybody hacked it or not. You just make it because you don't know where it's been stored somewhere. You don't know whose hands will get those details from. So you change your password. It keeps it afresh. It keeps it a little bit more secure. I think you're adding an extra layer to make it difficult for whoever wants to use it. Then one other area, very, very important, is when Mr. Casey started the discussion on that, where he talked about maybe when we're getting maybe free softwares or free applications, free downloads. And they say, okay, to get it, sign up. So usually they say sign up with your email. So you go in with your email and they say password. They say confirm password. So sometimes we just, unconsciously put our email password there, thinking they are asking for our email password, but they are asking for the password that you'll be using when you get to this environment, not your email. So your email is your identity, but that password should not be the same as the password you use in your email. So use another password for that particular application or that particular thing you are downloading or that particular platform. So a lot of people are falling prey to this, and that's why some of them, like you said, the rogue websites, they easily get their passwords and use them for their email. So when you're signing up for maybe free services or subscriptions and all that, and they ask for your email and password, you usually see email, password, confirm password. Don't use the password that you use for your email. They're asking for the password that you'll be using on that particular platform.
Wow, exciting. You made mention of two keywords. First is cookies. Can you expatiate what cookies are and what they do on websites?
Okay. Cookies, let me put it in a general layman's term. They are simple applications that run on your browser, they run on your system, that actually capture your data, your browsing data. In fact, they usually use cookies to track your browsing behavior. That's why sometimes you see you particularly you open a site frequently, and the next you start getting pop-ups from that site.
And sometimes I notice that if I go, for instance, on market.com to search for a particular product, when I leave that window and I close it and I go back to my Facebook, I keep getting market advert. Well, I'm trying to watch a YouTube video. A market advert plays first before my video, and it's all about market wherever I go, wherever browser I open. So, are you trying to tell me that that is the job of the cookie?
Yes.
That the cookie actually takes note of what the healer is searching for, what he's interested in, and it keeps showing me those items, even as I browse
other places.
So is that not something I should be worried about?
Oh, okay. There are two sides to it. Usually many cookies hardly download automatically. They'll give you because it's against internet policy. So they will show you maybe they'll tell you this website or this application contains cookies. Okay, so they'll give an option: do you want to continue or you want to stop? So this is a call to everyone out there. Sometimes in trying to get some free things and all that, sometimes we just click accept. So sometimes check what you're accepting, because sometimes you give them access to these cookies. They just get your browsing behavior and they sell them to marketers. And marketers keep popping you those kind of ads related to what you're doing because they have this information. So anytime you come, in fact, if you're not careful, sometimes they make your system slower. Because when you come online, there's a data exchange between them and their servers. They're not necessarily bad. If it's a service that you want, that you like them to be reminding you of, you can accept the cookie. They're not necessarily bad in themselves. But if it's not something that you want, you can sometimes see reject or they don't allow or don't allow for now. So the moral of this is whatever you're accepting, as much as possible. Sometimes some of them are very lengthy sometimes, but you can just glance through and see what you're accepting, because sometimes you may not know how much access you are giving because you want something free.
Yes. Now the attitude of a user clicking yes, accept, just to get all of those questions off the way, and they are so eager to get down to the business of them coming to that site, would you regard that as a reckless behavior? One. And two, I have also logged into several computers, most especially at my workplace, and I noticed that somebody has actually saved their username and their password on that particular browser. So would you also regard that as yes, 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 click, click, click of yes, yes, yes behavior, without them actually reading that the browser is requesting them to save their username and password here, so that when next they are coming on, they should just type it in? So how would you classify this behavior first, and what do you have to say about those people that just go all the way yes, 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 and even save their login credentials on that particular browser on a computer that is not theirs, and they walk away?
Okay, that's why we have a program like this, to inform, to educate, to enlighten. Let's take it that many times they don't know. They didn't know that this is the implication of those things. So before we term them reckless, we find a reckless act is usually a conscious act. You put the rules aside. You shift it aside, like I'll do whatever I want to do.
But clicking yes without reading the instruction before the yes, is that not reckless?
That is reckless now. So that one is even gone beyond ICT.
It's like driving the red light on traffic stop.
It's telling you yellow, it means you're about to stop, you're about to move, and you disregard it. So many times the consequences may not be things you may be able to keep up with. So it's better to just read a bit. Some of them are not very lengthy. If you have questions, like we said, ask somebody. ICT is almost everywhere. Ask somebody that's knowledgeable, or even go to Google and search and check. Because it's better you take that extra precaution and just go all the way and be saying, I know later.
Alright, listeners and viewers out there, it's been so interesting discussing this topic. We are not done yet. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to dive even deeper, and we'll be announcing our phone numbers shortly, via which you can send us a WhatsApp message, which we'll be treating on the next episode. Don't go away, stay tuned, we'll be back. In a world where ICT is the order of the day, wouldn't you rather tag along? Catch up with trends, tools, development, security, exploits. Get to know ICT, simplify your world. Connect with Daniel Ihile on ICT and You every Saturday, 4:30 to 5 p.m. Only on Human Rights Radio 101.1, redefining broadcasting. Welcome back. You're listening to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. And this is the program ICT and You. We've been discussing online security and online behavior. I've been joined by Mr. Casey and Mr. Uyi. At time check, we'll discover that we have actually used up most of our time allocation, but we would not end this topic abruptly. We'll take a few words from our two discussants, and next week, when we come back, we'll dive even deeper concerning these very sensitive topics. So, Mr. Uyi, your final words.
Final word is, now that you know, take action. Two kinds of action. One is a corrective action. Maybe if you've been doing something wrong before, correct it. Then now that you know these things, also you take proactive action. Don't make further mistakes. Check before you accept. Look before you leave. If you don't know, ask questions. Ask those who know. You can even ask on this platform. You can ask through SMS and comment and like. Just ask, and we'll be glad to answer you. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel.
And Mr. Casey.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daniel. You see, what I want to say is ignorance is not bliss. And most times your mistakes are not forgiven easily. They can actually hurt you, they can harm you. So it's very, very important you are conscious of your online behavior. You check everything you want to do. Be very, very careful out there, because there are bad people out there. Just like you have armed robbers, you have thieves attacking you physically, you have other ones behind their computers. That's why it's very, very important to be conscious of this and to take necessary actions like we rightly said. Thank you.
So viewers and listeners out there, it's been an exciting time, though seems very short, with Mr. Uyi and Mr. Kelechi. I'm sure we all have been well informed concerning our online behavior and in terms of staying secured, basically watching your back. I'm sure we all have been well informed concerning our online behavior and staying secured, basically watching our backs. I personally have been informed, and the next time I go on my computer to browse, I would read before I click yes. I would look before I leap, in Mr. Uy words. You can reach us with your questions, if you have any, via WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is 080 660 88019. Our WhatsApp number again is 080 660 88019. Send us your WhatsApp messages, and next week we're going to treat them on air. Hope we keep a date next week, same time, 4:30 to 5 p.m, same station, Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. This is ICT and You, and I remain your host, Daniel Ihile. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
In a world where ICT is the order of the day, wouldn't you rather tag along? Catch up with trends, tools, development, security, exploits. Get to know ICT. Simplify your